When Joseph Parker meets British superstar Anthony Joshua in a heavyweight boxing world title unification bout on Sunday, one has 2 belts, one has 1. The winner will have all 3, of course. A handful of people will be riding every punch with the New Zealand champion more than anyone else. Clay Wilson and visual journalist Dan Cock visited the Parker family home in South Auckland, where Mum Sala and Parker's sister Elizabeth revealed it can be an emotional rollercoaster, being the closest people in a prize fighter's life.
Joe goes to the left hand, back upstairs to the right, but counted again. Every time Joseph Parker lands a shot on the head and body of Andy Ruiz, Andy counters it.
Sala Parker has been watching her middle child in the ring for the best part of 15 years, and it never gets any easier.
I feel really, really heavy in every fight. So as soon as the fight is over, I can feel, you know, something is lifted and feel lighter, much lighter again. No matter how strong, and, you know, even your children say, oh, you know, I made out of iron, don't worry. Oh, hello. You still have that worries. You still have those butterflies floating around.
While there are understandable nerves, Parker's family are also excited to see what he can produce in the biggest test of his career. Part of that will be performing at the centre of a sporting cauldron packed with 80,000 people, with most of those at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff roaring in support of his opponent. However, Joseph's older sister Elizabeth says he will feed off that atmosphere, while Sala insists it will not be a factor that phases her son.
He will be the same, to be honest, because when he was, ever since he was little, he was a public speaker. So it's not a new, even if how many millions of people, I can assure you, Joshua will walk up with his head up, smile to everyone, because he's been there ever since he was little.
Sala also vividly remembers when, encouraged by their boxing-loving father Dempsey, a young Joseph and younger brother John first started out in the sport. And while Joseph now has his mother's full support, back then things weren't quite the same.
I introduced them to many, many other sports, like tennis. I enrolled them in the tennis club in the community, and then to volleyball, to golf. Even though I don't know how to, you know, I don't know the sport, I went and bought some golf clubs and all that kind of stuff, and I took them to the school playground, and so I was trying to distract them from, you know, from boxing.
The boys' love for boxing, though, did not disappear, and the 26-year-old has become a humble champion. Sala says she and Dempsey did their utmost to instill those qualities in all 3 of their children, and believes it is the reason Joseph has such a positive, friendly nature.
He's the kind of son that any parents would wish for, ever since he was young. For example, I taught him how to make his bed, how to iron his clothes, how to wash the dishes, how to clean the house. He just put it all into actions. He's a very hands-on kind of person. If he sees his dad doing something outside, he will, Dad, teach me how to do this.
Elizabeth echoes her mother's words when she explains how, despite boxing's brutal nature, Joseph has become a calming influence within the family.
He is just such a mellow, peaceful person. Like if any of us have problems, we call him, because he has a really big picture way of looking at things, and just he knows how to bring, like if you have a problem, he knows how to bring it down, and also he's so peaceful and calm, and that's contagious.
That doesn't mean there won't be apprehension for the Parker clan and all their family and friends making the trip to Cardiff. It is here where faith plays a big role, and Sala says they now have a routine when it comes to fight week.
Pray, pray, pray. We normally, like when we go over, we just leave him alone. We just go along and watch him and, you know, encourage him and cheer him up. And before the fight, we always sit down as a family or whoever is there, say our prayer, and then just leave him alone until the fight.
With victory comes much reward. In this case, 3 of the heavyweight division's 4 major world title belts and an estimated payday of $12 million. But while Sala admits the result plays a part, she insists her main hope is seeing her son step out of the ring unharmed. And regardless of what comes Parker's way, if he can spring an upset, Elizabeth says it won't change the way they look at the humble man they call a brother and a son.
So when we say it's normal, we say that that's where he should be, or that's where we think he should be. But it is humbling at the same time just to see the outpouring of support. Sometimes you just well up because you can't believe how many people know who he is, how much support he's getting. Because when you see him and talk to him on a day-to-day basis, that's just Joe.
All that remains now is the nervous wait. Mō te hōtaka o te ahipo nei, ko Clay Wilson aho.